Hi, I'm Tim Endsley from Livin the Brand. Today we're going to talk a little bit about target panic. Now, target panic's probably two worst words you can say in archery. So let's talk a little bit about what target panic is. It's mental. It's a psychological effect. It's definitely a form of anxiety. If you don't really know what target panic is, if you've ever talked to a guy that's a really big time golfer or just loves golf and he says he's got the shanks or he's got the really bad slice he can't get through, or you've seen baseball players that they have what they call the yips. I think a few years ago there was a deal about an all-star catcher that literally couldn't throw the ball back to home plate. Great catcher, could throw it to second, but could not throw it back to the pitcher for some reason. It was just a mental block. It's the same thing with archery, except it's called target panic. Now, there's many forms of target panic. Probably 90% of archers, whether they're target archers or whether they're just hunters or whether they're just recreational archers, you're going to have some form of target panic at some point in time in your life. It's not a big deal unless you let it become a big deal. There are ways to combat target panic. The thing that hit me with target panic 6 years ago, I literally, could not hit a 20-yard target. In a matter of a couple days, target panic came on me and I could not hit a 20-yard target. I would either shoot over, under, or just spray arrows everywhere. And what was going on with me was I was hanging up low, and it felt like my bow weighed 200 pounds, and I couldn't bring it up to the target. And so I would hold, and try to bring my bow up. It's called locking up or hitting a wall. I would hit that wall, and then all at once I would have to just yank my bow up and push the trigger. And it started me punching that trigger. So that developed a whole new bad habit. So now I'm hanging up, can't go up, and then all of a sudden I just start jerking my bow up and punching. So I tried so many different techniques. I got so much advice from so many great people. And if you talk to 30 people and they give you 30 different techniques that helps them with target panic, they're right. Whatever they did that helped them with target panic, it worked for them. So they're right. It's a mental thing. So whatever can help you get through that mental block. A lot of guys will say, don't shoot as much, back off, don't shoot for a few weeks, and then come back. That's probably what worked for them. What worked for me was blind bag shooting. Now, if you're not familiar with what blind bag shooting is it's where you get literally 10 feet from the bag target or closer. You draw your bow back. You put it on the target, you put it on the bag, so you know you're going to hit somewhere in the center of the bag. Then you strictly close your eyes and strictly concentrate on pushing and pulling and releasing the shot when you want to. Not punching the trigger, nothing. You're just closing your eyes. You're not looking at a target. You're basically just pointing your bow at a bag and concentrating on form. Pushing, pulling, squeezing your shoulder blades, and letting the shot go off naturally without punching the target. Now, one of the other things I did, you'll see I've got a 4-finger release here, thumb release. I went from shooting a trigger finger release, which was a wrist sling release, to this 4-finger release because it took basically that psychological signal that was running through this finger to punch, and I was doing it, boy. I mean, I was punching it, just boom, 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 just punching wherever, just wanted to get the shot off. And it's basically an anxiety of missing a target. So mentally, even though I shot a jillion targets in my life and had made great shots on 100+ animals in my life, all of a sudden I couldn't hit a 20-yard target, and it was just devastating to me. But I knew I had to work my way through this if I wanted to continue to archery hunt. So I changed from the trigger finger wrist sling release to a 4-finger thumb release, which really helped me a lot because it took that signal out of that finger right there. All of a sudden I had a new signal to go by, and that helped a bunch. The next thing I did was I went and got a back tension release. First thing I did was I studied them and I figured out how they operated. I went and talked to some guys that shoot back tension. They actually helped me with it. That's very important. Back tension releases can be kind of dangerous. When you're drawing back, if you're not drawing back in the right position, they'll go off, and because back tension releases work strictly off your form. All right, there's no trigger mechanism for my thumb or my finger. Basically, it's a push, pull, squeeze my shoulder blades together. It clicks, which means it's loaded, and as I push, pull, and squeeze my shoulder blades together, it eventually goes off, and it surprises you on the go off because you don't know when it's going to go off at that point. So it's that's what helped me a lot. Blind bag shooting with the back tension release. Also, it's not just for target panic. I mean, this is one of the best things you can do for your archery. So even if you don't have, you know, any kind of serious target panic, just working on your form sometimes 1 day a week with a back tension release, oh man, you won't even believe how much more accurate you'll be with your shots. Your shots will go off a lot easier. You can breathe, not breathe, whatever you need to do to make your shot go easy. You're concentrating on that, and you're not having to concentrate so much on holding it on that target. You're blind bag shooting with just basically concentrating on nothing but your form. So today I'm going to run down to the archery shop, my buddy Brent, and we're going to blind bag shoot some. So to blind bag shoot, right here I'm in actually the archery range here at Hunter's Refuge, where you can come in and shoot any of the bows they have on the rack. You can get some archery tips from Brent or whoever's up here, Brent or Greg. But this is a perfect place to do some blind bag shooting because the target's actually literally 10 yards from me right now. So what I'm going to do to blind bag shoot is I'm going to actually keep my thumb off of the release, period. I'm going to draw my bow back. I'm going to anchor in my normal spot. Once I know that I'm on the target, I'm going to close my eyes, and then I'm just going to push, pull, and release. Now, I don't really care where it hit. All I'm worried about is my form. Push, pull, release. Squeeze my shoulders, push, pull, release. So that's with my regular release. I can do the same thing you can do the same thing with your regular release. You're not worried about where it's hitting, just as long as you're aiming into the bag. With a back tension release, we're basically doing the same thing. The only difference is there is no trigger on a back tension release. The trigger is the push and the pull, and the farther you push and pull, it gets to a point where it finally breaks over and releases the string. So I'm going to shoot a few with the back tension release, blind bag with the back tension release. This is really what helped me probably more than anything. You can probably hear the click when it clicks before the shot. And blind bagging with a back tension release is probably one of the best things you can do for your archery. I think even if you don't have target panic or you're not bad to punch or whatever, this is just such a great tool to help you with your form. And I've always had kind of crappy form, but that's probably what started a lot of my target panic too. But this is the way I really fight my way through target panic, is blind bag shooting with a back tension release. So again, I'm not worried about where it's hitting in the target. I'm strictly worried about my form. Not punching the trigger, not doing anything detrimental to the shot, not floating the target, not anything. I'm strictly worried about pushing and pulling through the shot. Push, pull through. And that's blind bag shooting with the back tension release. Try it with just your regular release. Blind bag with your regular release. I promise you, blind bag shooting from about 10 yards out will definitely help your accuracy in archery, because it's going to really work strictly on your form. You're not working on aiming, you're not working on anything other than your form. That's something we probably don't work on enough. It's exactly what causes the yips in golf. It's what causes the yips in baseball. It's called target panic in archery. So if you can blind bag shoot, take some of those equations out, the aiming part, the anticipation part, blind bag, just strictly work on your form. It's going to improve you as an archer.